One of the questions that I get asked a lot, even by professionals, is why does the suicide happen? My son was so popular. My daughter was so beautiful. They had everything that you could imagine as a family. But what we've learned through the years is that suicide most often occurs when those stressors exceed that current coping ability. So what happens to one young person is enough to be an irksome and they get angry and walk away, but it may be enough for someone else to push themselves over the ledge. And that's the challenge. Suicide is so individualized and it's so unique to that individual. The interesting part, and I talked with my wife a lot, who's a therapist who works with the adult veterans. She talks about the concept that many adults will spend months, a year planning their suicide. They're going to do it in a certain spot. They're going to go out and raise money to buy a certain kind of weapon, whatever it is. Young people, I call it the 24 to 48-hour window. Something happens in their life, romantic breakup, disciplinary action, something that pushes them towards the edge. And not only because, remember, that impulsivity isn't fully developed in their brain. And so because of that, there's an immediate response. And that immediate response is to that pain that's happening. And so they respond to that. Our crisis team responded to a suicide in the southern part of our state. Beautiful young lady, senior in high school, full ride scholarship to play volleyball. From the outside looking in, everybody would have thought, what a perfect, charming life. The reality, she struggled. Her boyfriend broke up with her. She contacted a couple of friends, chatted with them that night, said, I'm at the end of my rope. I don't think I can take this crap anymore. And then those young friends didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to ask, so it wasn't their fault. The very next morning, she came to school, put all of her journals in the boyfriend's locker, and then went upstairs to the girl's bathroom and took her life. It happened that fast. As we investigated and started peeling back the layers, what we found, what we perceive, is that in that young lady's mind is, if I take my life, see, remember, there's no rational thinking when a young person is in a crisis. All they can do is get that feeling of, I want that pain to go away. I can't take the pain anymore. So there was no rational thinking from that perspective. So one of the things that we've learned through the past 30 years that I've been doing this is that suicide never occurs outside of the context of a major social stressor. So when you see your children responding to a stressor or their inability to respond to that stressor, that's when it's important to get involved.